I suck at art design.
What the hell?
But let me give you some more context. I used to love drawing back when I was younger. For better or for worse. Yeah, I wasn't very good at it. So I decided I would challenge myself and force myself to sit here for a single day to learn pixel art. Will I do well? Will I be the next Picasso? Have these videos inflated my ego a little bit? All these will be answered very shortly. Let's go! Okay, so now we're finally gonna lock in. I know I woke up hella late. That's the life of an unemployed person. I gotta make hella art pieces and just lock in and then become just like Van Gogh pretty much. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. Okay, so I got this random item wheel and this is gonna determine my fate, whether I get a good item to do or a really hard one. So we'll see. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, bang! Oh, 2, 3, 2, 1, bang! Give me something good. Give me something good. What? I'll do an apple tree. Sure. Okay, so pretty much we're starting with these photos as a reference. As you can see here, I'm starting off with the lining of the branch, the trunk and everything. And it was frustrating me a little bit because I was like, why does this thing look like a little odd? Like it's a little bent, you know? But once we had this shaping of the branch, I started working on the leaves itself. So usually when it's a pixel art style, they kind of have like more of a bush kind of shape rather than separate leaves. I mean, you can, but I mean, that's just so much harder. And I'm not that good. So I shaped the leaves and I also added another set of leaves on this next branch. And then I thought, hey, time to fix this weird looking branch. It's a little thick. So let me turn it down a little bit. And then I started adding the colors. I added the green, I added the brown, and I was like, time to do the shading that I've, been practicing. And then, just to feel extra special, I was like, I could do some dithering, that's like light work, I'm feeling Picasso. So pretty much I was starting shading on the top, kind of shading where the light source would come from on the top, thinking of kind of like a top-down perspective. I was trying to put shadows at the top of the tree to make it more 3D, but I realized it looked a little bit odd, so yeah, time to get rid of that. Yeah, so I pretty much kept it simple. I added the highlights on the top and then shadows on the bottom. Just kept it simple so it could pop a little bit. Then it was time to add like those little grooves in the tree, like kind of give it a vibe of there's leaves in it. So I was adding these little grooves, kind of making it a bit random. I didn't really have any thought process when going into it. And then I was like, you know what? I gotta add shadows too. So I added a few shadows underneath so I can make it a little more 3D, just pop out. And then I tried to do highlights on top, but I just wasn't liking how it looked like, so I ended up removing that. I tried some dithering on the top, and that just was not looking good, so I got rid of that too. I added as well the grooves on the other tree. I added some shadowing. I added another color for the shadow to make it even more, pop, just like... Yeah, then I started to work on the trunk itself, kind of adding more of like a root based basing to it. I was like, oh, let me make it lighter, let me make it look more of like a tree bark kind of a vibe. And then I realized it looks like it has a disease, so I wanted to change that, kind of removing the color a bit more and more and looking at it. I was removing it a little more, then removing it a little more. Then pretty much I started working on the apples on the tree. So I added a few apples. I started with the first one, kind of getting the shape of it. I started with kind of like a hard design, trying to think of how it would fit. And then I went on the next one and I made it a little bit smaller. And then once I got to the third one, that's when I was like, oh, this is my apple shape. And then I ended up working the other two to be more of that kind of apple shape style. Once I had those apples done, I kind of just removed some of the shading on the trunk because I thought it just looked so weird. So now it looks a little more trunk shaped and we have our final apple tree. After I've made my beautiful creation, Maybe not so beautiful, but it's beautiful to me at least, okay? It was time to move on to the next few art pieces. It's definitely not my proudest achievement, but you know what? Hopefully those skills will transfer to the next thing I do, which I don't know yet, but we're gonna figure it out soon. So we spun the Wheel of Fate. Give me something good.
Want a break from the ads?
Big back. I think this one's gonna be hard. Okay, so pretty much I used this photo as a reference and I was following it pretty thoroughly. I just wanted to use the line work from it and kind of shape it so it looked kind of similar. With that being said, I did work on the line work first, kind of shaping the backpack itself, adding the little side pouches, the middle pouches, all the little different pouches. And then I wanted to add the grooves in between and just kind of like the zips and the zip holders, the zip. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And then I was like, let me apply some of the colors into the backpack now because might as well. And I'm not gonna lie, I started to do this thing to make it look leathery, but it started looking like a honey pot. It looks like Winnie the Pooh is gonna be hungry trying to eat this thing. I added like this pouch thing, like that opens the bag, and I added this line, and then I completely gave up and saved the thing. Yeah, I was definitely really struggling at this time. Okay, so I was doing the backpack one, and to be honest, I low-key just got bored halfway and I wanted to do something else. So I tried to do a cute elephant next, made it look a little scary, and then it started looking a little inappropriate. So then I moved on to do a 16-bit old Mario, did that, had no clue what I was doing, and got absolutely stuck. And then finally, I figured out what I would do. I'm doing Sonic. So pretty much I wanted to use the Sonic CD animation as a framework for this art piece. Pretty much I wanted to just pixelify that and make it more pixel art, because also I really love that art style and I think it's amazing. And I was like, you know what, let me take a crack at it. I've always liked Sonic growing up and I drew him a lot. So this was more of like, I might understand this a little bit better, so that's good. Pretty much we start with the head. I was shaping the head a bit, and then we started doing the body and the legs. Or can I say these like socks were bloody annoying to do. Oh my god, it was like it just looked weird and I couldn't figure out what. And also his limbs was just like spaghetti noodles. But regardless, I did the shoes a bit. They were looking a little bit flat, so I was tweaking them. And then I started doing the hands. The hands have a weird thing where they aren't like at his stomach, they're actually behind his head. So I was trying to work with that, and then realizing fingers are the hardest thing to draw in all of art history, and I was really making them look like sausages or he had like a broken finger. But working it through, kind of just seeing my reference and seeing how it goes, it was helping a lot, and I could see what I was doing right, what I was doing wrong. Pretty much I shaped the stomach, I shaped all the parts, and then this is where I started to add the color. So I just added all the solid colors from the OVA, kind of made it somewhat similar to the art style, but not taking it straight from the art style. Just doing these like kind of, in a way, muted but light colors, kind of anime, old anime style. I extended the quill because I was like, his face looks really squished for some reason. I actually don't know why. And then I was looking at Sonic and I was like, wait, you know what? He doesn't normally have shading, but let me just add some shading anyway, because, you know, I learned this. I have this newfound power. So I added some shading and he was good to go. Now, with my art pieces done, can I call myself the next Picasso? No, but it was a start, I guess. Honestly, all jokes aside, I'm actually very proud of myself. Even though these aren't perfect, I actually got myself to start. And to be honest, that's more than I could say a week ago. And it can only go uphill from here, right? Right? Maybe I've shown it isn't as easy as it looks. Has my ego been deflated? Yes. Maybe that's a good thing then. But I guess the real message is, give it a shot. You're probably not good. You're probably horrible, trash, terrible in fact, maybe atrocious, but at least give it a shot and see how it goes. You can never get worse, but you can always improve. Okay, anyways, time to go draw my Gojo fan art.